maybe we could create something together here. Perhaps we could create distinctions. Distinctions being the smallest part of judgment. What I mean is, if you are creating a distinction about someone or something, then you're not judging them. You are simply pointing out their way of being. If you see somebody compiling millions of dollars piling up on top of millions of dollars, then you can know that person is greedy. That's a distinction. You can call them all kind of names, but those are names, those are judgments. So distinction, or the distinction about distinctions, is that it's speaking the truth. It's not judgment or cutting somebody down. The problem we have here with distinctions is that there are two different domains, two different dimensions of life. When you create distinction within yourself, you are then coming from a different dimension, the dimension of truth, where intelligence and creation is. You're not coming from the dimension of knowledge and thought and belief. Of course, as we've talked before, knowledge, thought, and belief is a dream world. It's the world of the known, where people know everything. I don't know if you've noticed that when you talk with people, the first thing you discover is they know everything. By the way, that's a distinction. So if you really care to discover this thing that I'm speaking of called distinction, you need to realize that it does not live in knowledge. You can't know anything and create distinction, because knowledge or thought cannot create. It can only invent. Knowledge and thought can only take what's already there and either make it worse, make it better, or say I'm doing something new. They can move it around, mumbo jumbo it. It can't create. Thought, knowledge cannot create. Matter of fact, if you believe, you can't even be alive. You can be existing. There's another distinction. The distinction between living from creation, intelligence, and truth is that's living. That's to be alive. If you live your life from knowledge, thought, and belief, then you're living your life from existing. You're just existing. You're just a robotic person, a robot, if you will, praying to some god that he'll save you, or snakes can talk, and the ridiculousness of virgins can have babies that turn into water-walking winemakers. Then you're living in the world of existing, the world of judgment, the world of wars and killings and raping women. So the distinction then is this. If you care to actually discover what distinction is, then you must die. You must die to existing. Get it? You need to die to as strange as it's going to sound, die to already being dead. You've already given your life over, perhaps to some 2,000-year-old fellow walking around in the mountains with his 12 buddies. If you've already done that, then you need to die to that, along with every other belief that you hold, because belief blocks intelligence. There's two dimensions here that we are speaking about. I'm speaking from the dimension of creation. I was going to say you could call that heaven, so you guys could, but that would be having two conversations at the same time, wouldn't it? So the dimension of creation, intelligence, and truth is the dimension where we're alive. There would be no wars in that dimension. There would be not even any fights and arguments and rapes and killing. There would be none of the nonsense that we see in the United States. What so far this year, I don't know, it's so ridiculous. 292 mass murders. Almost every day we hear 12 children blown up in the school or shot down by AK-47s, or go to the concert and 15 of you are mowed down by it's some kind of a machine gun that can kill 30 or 40 people in a minute or two. And every time that happens, the Second Amendment people run out and buy more guns. That's cowards. Cowards are always afraid of the other coward might shoot them. The only manner in which we're ever going to have peace on earth is to manifest peace on earth from peace. And as long as gun is there, then we can't have peace, can we? We can have what we see it quite often with Memorial Day coming up here. Is it Labor Day, or I think Memorial Day? We give thanks to those who have given their lives. And I'm not taking that away. I was one of those. Well, I didn't die, but I was on the Cuban blockade, and so I spent my time in the service, serving America. So I'm not talking about that, because that's simply a mistake that we made, thinking that to bring forth peace on earth by the use of bombs and guns would be peace on earth. But it's not. When you bring forth peace on earth, what you call freedom, by using guns and bombs, then what you have to do is use guns and bombs in order to keep it, this thing called freedom. So what we need to do is give up this thing called freedom and discover what it is to be free. Aha! We have another distinction. To actually be free would mean no worry about being shot down on the way to Walmart to buy some peanuts or some milk or some baby powder. That's free. Not free is on the way to Walmart, your child is blown up in the back seat because you pulled over in front of somebody that you didn't see, or whatever it is. So if you have anger, another distinction is coming about here. I'm getting real unpopular here, so I better close down pretty soon here. Another distinction here for you to use is, if you get angry, if you get into fights with your husband, wife, child, boss, anybody, if there is an argument, if there's a fight, then you're a robot. You live in the dream world of knowledge, thought, and belief. You're just robotic. You're existing. You're not living. However, if you notice the anger, notice the insanity of wars and killings and raping women, and don't take part in them, then you consider that the distinction would be that you're alive. You're a human being, not All right, here's another. I'm going to give you another distinction for you to consider. The distinction between being a human being and people, a person. We have all these new. The reason we're getting dumber every generation is because we have all these new words and all these new names and all kinds of more excuses to kill people and to rape people we had the January 6th guy blowing up, killing 6 people, and they say, well, that was just a normal tourist day. So we have the insanity of that. So here's the distinction. A human being not only would never kill anyone, it would not allow, or it would do everything that it could, to end all violence on planet Earth. The end of violence. The end of violence can only happen through the use of peace. Peace can only be if you are peaceful. And if you are in arguments, if you get upset with, did I say get upset with your mother, your father, your husband, your wife, your child, and you scream and holler, then we're going to have world wars because you are the world. In order to really see that, what you need to do is take your anger when you're really angry at your daughter for whatever it is, or your son, either one of them perhaps having sex or whatever it is. If you take that anger that you experience and multiply it times 7 billion in the atmosphere, then you'll know why you are the world. We're all the same. All of us are the same. Killing, maiming, murder, rape is all of us. It's in all of us. And it's our responsibility to create the distinctions that will allow us to discover it. And one of the methods, if you will, we can use that. There's really no method. Truth has no method because truth brings an end to the dream world. So one of the actions that you can take is when you're called a name, what you consider to be a name, the question that you need perhaps first to ask yourself, wait a minute, is this person calling me a name? Or is this person pointing out my own flaw? Then you say, let's say they say you are violent. And you say, I am not. You get, even if they say you're violent and you say, I am not, and you start arguing, that's violence. Violence is arguing. Actually, in the world of, if you will, let me get silly here for a moment. In the world of creation, intelligence, and truth, this is the beginning. I wonder if you can see this. This is the beginning of violence. This is violence. You see that? That's when you hear something that bothers you a little bit. The moment it bothers you a little bit, that's the moment you need to discover your violence. Because that's the thing that will keep exaggerating itself until perhaps you find yourself in that train thing, whatever that is, San Antonio or wherever that was just recently. Guy killed 9 or 10 of his co-workers because he didn't catch it when the first inkling, the slightest inkling of upsettedness is born there. It needs to be caught right then. Like having a garden perfectly set for tomatoes and onions and potatoes and hopefully not kale. Boy, that would make me mad. A little distinction for you. So if you did have that garden and that little thing showed up, little weed, you'd pull it out, wouldn't you? So if you can, when you first begin the little of being upset about what somebody said or what they did, that's the time to ask yourself, wait a minute, where's this coming from? Because look, if it's inside of you, it was already there. They did not make you mad. Only you can make you mad. So if you care to discover this thing that I call distinction, then you need to learn, you need to say, wait a minute, there's a bunch of people there. Leanne, and Leanne. Oh, they're all Leanne. Hello, bunch of people. I didn't see you come in. The glasses help. You know what the glasses are for? They really help me see. Thank you, Alfred Fareed. So, if you have the intent to bring forth peace on earth, it must absolutely begin, this sounds a little like a cliche, doesn't it, with you. Because whether you can see it or not, every person, there's a little distinction there, I'm using person, not human being. Because actually, there are no human beings on this planet. There's only people. People could kill each other. People can rape their women. People could have their children shot in school and themselves shot in shopping centers and concerts. And just say, oh, so what? We'll keep our guns. Human beings would throw every gun on planet Earth away. So if you care to, please create the intent to discover for yourself what speaking truth can do for you. Because speaking truth, the truth, is the doorway, the bridge, that thing across which you can jump. You can't walk across it. You have to jump because there's a big chasm in there. If you fall into that, you'll be going to church every Sunday. You'll pray to God for somebody to come down and save you. You won't do it yourself. You'll, bring down that chariot and take all these bad people away and take me up. See? So the entry point to heaven, pardon me, Freudian slip there. The entry point to creation, intelligence, and truth, distinction, is truth. Speaking the truth in your daily life. The first truth I recommend, suggest that you say, no matter who you are, is that you are a liar and your whole life has been a lie. Ever since the day you accepted the world that your parents gave you, offered you, or forced you into, the moment you accepted that, you became a 100% liar. You became a robot. All right. I've probably made enough people mad. Well, I can't make a whole lot of people mad because not very many people watch these. And when they do, the number one thing I care for people to do is listen, which, by the way, there's another distinction. You cannot listen and say right or wrong or good or bad. The main thing I care for people to do is listen. And yet when they listen, they get madder than hell at me because I'm cutting God down, or preachers and Muslims and Catholics and all the insanity in the world. So if you care to accept this challenge is discover for yourself the distinction called speaking the truth. Here's the truth about speaking the truth. It is the easiest by far thing anybody can ever do on planet Earth. But if you listen carefully, you'll realize that if it's the easiest thing you can do, then a complex world that has been going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into knowledge, into knowing everything, into having excuses, having reason and justification for everything. The most difficult thing for that person to ever discover, what is it? Truth. Speaking the truth. which, by the way, is what I've been doing for 41 years. And the truth about that is I've been failing for 41 years. That may be a tiny little space along the way. All right, it's been 20 minutes. Oh, Edward. People don't have that, what do they call that? You can't pay attention that long, something about that. Attention span. You know what I'm saying. Maybe. See you. Create the possibility for distinctions, if you care to.